We have a beautiful letter here. I suppose I think of it almost as a mission statement from Daniel and Alexander Macmillan, addressing, I think, the public about what they intend to do with their bookshop.
Yeah, it's kind of their elevator pitch, isn't it? Mission statement, press release, all in one. You know, I feel like this is them establishing their brand. They've probably, you know, I think this is probably a very, very condensed version that they worked on a lot about, you know, oh, do we put in the bit about the Bible? Do we put in the bit about, you know, what are our brand values here, you know?
And of course bookbinding is very important to them. What's in the books, who cares?
Who cares?
But, you know, if it looks fantastic with, you know, gold foil, I think sprayed edges.
Yeah, always.
I have a rider, sprayed
bit
edges.
Bit of embossing,
and now I feel validated that the founders of Macmillan, the Macmillan brothers, actually that's where they started, with the essentials, with the binding of the book. Wonderful.
Well, what I love is the resonances, the similarities actually, rather than the differences of kind of today's industry. It really feels like a full circle thing. I mean, these guys were the kind of start-up entrepreneurs of their time, weren't they? They were young guys, you know, they didn't go through the traditional academic routes. They, you know, had just kind of started, they'd done apprenticeships and they'd worked their way up. And, you know, this is them going for it.
I like that, and that's a nice analogy, isn't it? Because I mean, we wouldn't be very far, would we, when this sort of began from the printer who might take subscriptions for you know, an edition of a book and then print it, and you know, people would come in almost like a crowdfunding.
Well, they were crowdfunding. They had their meetings where they were. I think that happened later in Cambridge, but you know, where they got together their artists and their poets and their musicians. You know, it feels very modern. And even here, where they're talking about you know, their music books and things like this. You know, they're emphasising their range of genres. You know, this was they're kind of going into multimedia there, multi-format. You know, we're not just books, we're music, and we're stationery, which is, of course, a staple of bookselling.
We pledge ourselves that libraries, single volumes and music books entrusted to us shall be bound substantially and elegantly, and at very moderate prices.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 for 1, possibly.
Yeah.
But, and the other thing I love about just looking at this rather beautiful letter is Sir at the top.
Yeah.
And we are, Sir, yours respectfully. I love the repetition of Sir.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Nice.
And actually, whenever I see something like that, if you've got the handwriting on this page, and it's a wonderful, daunting thing, isn't it? I mean, you may well have you probably do, Chris, have absolutely perfect handwriting on unlined paper, but it's,
Molly, I was
art in itself.
Taught by a psychotic woodwork teacher who didn't teach us how to make mortars and tenon joints or anything like that. Yeah. During his woodwork classes, he taught us copperplate.
Amazing.
With a length of doweling.
So you can do this?
Well, if you didn't actually write in a certain way, he would rap you over the knuckles with the doweling, which really
proper
stung.
Dickensian.
So for me, looking at this beautiful handwriting is both wonderful and slightly scary.
Yeah, yeah.
Takes me back.
Yeah.